Wow, something popped into our mind, actually popped into our email that I want to talk with you guys about because I think it's going to be very important. And we got an expert here today to talk about that. What is it? Let's find out next. Dave Edwards, Treasure Valley Dave here. And I get these emails. I'm always doing research, and this one popped into my email box, and it made me start thinking stuff that you guys probably want to know about, probably stuff that you've already been thinking about. So what's that all about? Well, we're going to talk about that with our resident expert in just a moment. But first, it has to do with moving and relocating. And if you've been thinking that Idaho is some place that you want to check out, maybe you want to get out of the place that you're living because, well, we don't even need to go there on this video. But suffice it to say, give us a call, text, email. We've all made that relocation journey. And we have answers to questions that you didn't even know you had questions for. Go to our website, www.treasurevalleydave.com. See the banner up there. And go on that resources tab. We got a bunch of great resources. It's all for free and it's all for you. And one last thing, if you like this video, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Like this video and maybe share with somebody that needs to see this. All right, let's get back to work. This might be a couple-part video, and that's okay too, because that's going to give you a chance to make your comments in the comments below. Ask questions, get clarification, tell us we're nuts, whatever it takes, just give us some comments down there. So what we're talking about today is house hunting checklist. And this is from our friends over at The Close. If you're not in the real estate business, you might not know who they are, but I want to give them a little shout out because they're always there for us agents. This is our house hunting checklist. This is a whole bunch of things that you as the buyer should be going through, thinking about as you're going through this process. Steven, so I know besides from working out all the time, you help buyers find houses. You're on the phone constantly with them, answering their questions, giving them advice. What did you think of this checklist? I know you read through it.
You know, it's good. I felt like it's good in general ways, and it gives you ideas of how to start thinking through items. But we talked, and it's like, we feel like there's another depth that we can bring to it that's going to be beyond just the generals that they give us.
That's true. We're going to get out of the kiddie pool and go down to the deep end.
Yeah.
So just to get started, there's a lot of steps. I think it's like 4 pages. And, if you want a copy of this, just let me know. I'd be glad to send it to you. But we're going to go through it pretty thoroughly. And I know some of you out there taking notes. The first thing that you guys should do is do your research. Steven, what do you think they should be thinking about when they're doing their research?
Well, first of all, they've already started here with the YouTube channel, which is, of course, going to be helpful. And, of course, we're only one of the resources you should look at. Main source, probably. But there's other things to consider. And when I was looking at this list, I thought, do your research first. And what came up for me was, what kind of life are you looking for when you're moving to any place? If it's Idaho, hopefully. But when you're moving to a new house, think about the good things that you've had where you're living now as far as space, yard size, those kinds of things that really worked for your lifestyle. But then think, well, we're not taking all of our kids with us. Some of them are staying here. Or what life change is happening between where you're living now and where you're going to be. And then also, do you want to get an acre of land? Do you want to have a shop? Have you always had a dream of having a big garden? Or you have the shop and the garden and you want to get rid of all that stuff and downsize. So think about what you can envision your life being where you're going.
And that kind of brings us into the second topic that they brought up is be realistic.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe you've always had that dream of a couple acres and a shop, but we're not getting any younger, am I right? So maybe a couple acres sounds like work. It sounds like taking all my free time on the weekends. What examples have you seen?
I think people have pie in the sky ideas. And like you said, for you, spending all your time on your land or taking care of the fence because the cows kicked them down or what, that's not for you. So you have to be realistic with what you want to do with your time. And some people, again, have this big vision, but they hate maintenance or they hate those kinds of other things. So you really just have to be realistic with yourself about what you want to be doing with your time.
And you know what else comes into the dang realistic thing? Because sometimes it can be such a I don't know, a pain in the bottom
We be realistic just for 1 second.
is your finances. It's like maybe you want 5 acres in a shop, but maybe you're looking at a regular home in a subdivision, from the financial aspect. So, I think there's a lot of realism that has to come in when we're talking about that, which brings us into the next topic. Get your finances in order. So what kind of things fall into that category?
So whether that's, talk with a lender, pay off some debt potentially. If you know that you're going to be selling a few cars that you've got that are projects, those kinds of things that you know that you're either gaining as much money to put into savings as possible or paying down debt to help yourself with your debt to income ratio, which your lender will talk to you about. What else comes up for you? Well,
I think you kind of touched on that, is get a financial plan and get an expert to help you with that. So I wouldn't spend any money on anything until you talk with a lender and come up with that plan. Because you might think, it's a great idea to pay off all of these credit cards, but that might actually hurt your credit rating.
True.
Maybe it's just a matter of paying down a little bit on each of them to get your ratios right. I'm not sure, but I do know who knows. And that's our trusted lenders. So if you need a trusted lender, give us a holler. We'd be glad to help you with that.
If you see anything, you give us a holler. Over and out.
Which brings us down to the fourth topic, get pre-qualified first. So what benefit is there to that?
Actually, there's a lot. And I would also put on top of it, get pre-qualified with a local lender, because not surprising, let's say time zone differences, or if somebody works for like one of those kind of corporate, like Rocket Mortgage or something like that, they have office hours. And so if you need something last minute, or you need help, or you need to submit a paper or whatever it happens to be, if they're not a local lender where you're going to be buying, their office hours are done and they're headed home, which I understand to a certain extent, but when it really comes down to closing time or crunch time,
Closing time already.
you need somebody who you have their cell phone number and say, what do we do? What do we need? How can I get this done? Or whatever it happens to be. So I would add local lenders, really important, but they know so many different lending programs, what's required. They can talk to you about, let's say, debt to income ratio if you have school loans, car loans, and they can give you a strategy about what to pay off or what to just keep. Because like Dave said, you don't really know.
You don't really know what this feels like.
And they're the expert. And not only that, you've probably heard this, but I hear it a lot is, well, I don't want to bother anybody. We're not moving for another 6 months or 2 years or whatever. It's like, well, if you had 2 years to get all of your finances in order, talk about an opportunity that a lot of people don't have. So our time, our lender's time, advice, it's free. So we want to be able to help you get to where you're going, and don't wait, because even our lenders are like, I don't know why people do this. I don't know why they wait. So reach out to somebody, do it early, do it often. It'll only help.
There you go. Well, we have a lot more to go over on this list, but I know you guys have a lot to do, so maybe we'll pick this up on the last one, but I just want to circle back to do your research first. I think that's so important, and that's going to be a process where you come to realize what's important to you. Maybe at one point in your life you wanted to be close to elementary schools, but maybe that's not something you need anymore. Maybe you need to be closer to hospitals or what have you. But definitely do your research first. Our website's a great resource for information, but we're not, we don't know everything, and we haven't thought of everything. So give us your questions. We will give you our opinions. We will find out answers for you. We'll put those answers up here on the website if it might be something that could help somebody else out.
Absolutely.
So help the team, help the tribe, help other people in the same boat as you. Let's all just end up having a great experience with this moving. Any last thoughts you have there, Mr. Steven?
Lots of thoughts. But something I always throw out there, whether you're retiring or you're buying your first house, consider a duplex. That's something I like to throw out there because, let's say, added income, that's never a bad thing. But if you have family that needs to move in with you, but you want to have their own space potentially, just consider it. in your thinking through your research and what you're wanting, consider a duplex.
Yeah. My family's great. We could all sleep in the same room. It'd be fine. But there's some families I understand that need that little separation.
Sure, or a parent who may need some extra help as years go on and they just move in next door. They still have their independence.
Wow.
And, just something to think about. And heck, if it's your first house, if you can buy a duplex and have someone help you pay your mortgage, that's also nice.
Well, and that's a good point. We're in that financial time like we had seen back in the 70s and 80s where creativity was kind of the thing when it came to getting a house. I was just in a group yesterday at a brokerage, and they're talking about assumable loans. A couple people have people assuming the loans that are at a lower interest rate, and we haven't heard even those words for like decades, and now they're back. So definitely do your research, get prepared, be realistic on what you want. Get your finances in order, get with the lender, make that plan. And one of the big things is give us a call. We've got answers for you. And I know you've got questions. Go to our website, www.treasurevalleydave.com. Look at that resources tab. If there's something that you'd like to see added to that, please let us know. I'd be glad to work on that for you. Gosh, what else is there? Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and wow, it's been great sitting down, talking with you. We don't get to do this nearly often enough. It's been a great afternoon. Well, we're going to pick up on this list. There's a whole lot more to go over, and add your questions to it, and we'll just throw it in the mix. And anyway, until next time, Dave Edwards, Treasure Valley Steven, looking forward to helping you get home.